We are now.
Okay, so we had a meeting tomorrow at 9 for Lamar, and we're not going to be able to do that. So I hope we can meet still this week. Victor Head has found one of the members of his club is also an Edward Jones agent, as is the person who wants the new club in Lamar. And so I think he'll be a great asset, and we can get started on that. Then the next after that would be Carla and me and Paul Eckler and Mary and all the people around St. Louis working on the Manchester Town and Country. And then the fourth thing, we need to get 4 clubs, and the fourth one should be in Arkansas. We had talked about East End, and I don't know where we are with East End. I'm hoping I can pull together a meeting maybe of John Goss, and who else would we need to meet with for East End, AC? Do you know?
Myself.
Well,
and,
I don't think,
and Susan LaFawn wants to help us down there.
okay.
Uh,
Susan LaFond,
And
okay.
of course, Ed Alvarez will also help us.
Excellent. Excellent. So those are the plans. And those will be our 4. If we can get a 5th one in, that'd be great. And we are still looking for, I'm thinking that we should do one in Little Rock proper, within the city limits of Little Rock, because we're getting fewer and fewer. Our clubs there are getting smaller and smaller.
John, what's the situation on Central Little Rock?
They're gone. They only had 2 members, and I thought they turned in the charter, but if they haven't,
They haven't sent me anything so I can send on to KI. So you might, if you know anybody there that
yeah,
could
I
send me a
know
note.
the 2 guys that are in it. So yeah.
Okay, great. I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right.
Yeah. So that might be an area that we want to look at. Would be the Central Little Rock area. What do you think, John?
I think so, definitely. I mean, we do need to build up the ones that are here. I mean, the downtown club is down to less than 40 members, which that's a 100-member club in recent past. So it has Camp Pfeiffer, so it needs to be strengthened.
Yes.
But,
Right. Right.
But, I was going to ask about, is it Stockton? Is that the one where Joe Dare has joined?
Yes, Joelle and Dare. It's called Cedar County.
Cedar County. Okay.
Yes, and she is a board member, actually. So
Cool.
I know that you must be glad to have her in Moark.
Oh yeah, for key leader for sure.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Mary, I have something that's tangentially related to this. Could I share my screen?
Yes, let me set that up so you can share the screen.
Okay, let me get what I want
There
to
you
share.
go.
Okay. So I made this document. I took the membership report that we get every month. I took the unpaid report from Kiwanis International. It's also available on that same page. And I took our survey of clubs after the February meeting, was it, that we did that? And I put that information together. So what I have here is, I called it clubs at risk, and there are 3 categories. One is that they're under charter strength. Second is that they are charter suspended. And third is that they are charter revoked. And so I did that by division. And I thought that this would be something that the lieutenant governors could use. It's more about strengthening, maybe, but that's where it became clear to me that we needed to have a new club in Little Rock. So it's by division. It tells you which clubs are under charter strength. The C column, where there are pluses and minuses, indicates whether they have been losing or growing. So if you're at 14 and growing, that might be different than 14 and losing. A lot of the clubs are charter suspended because they owe money, which I think they probably have collected the dues and haven't sent them in. So if each of the lieutenant governors could take this for your, I will send it out to you, take it for your division and talk to the clubs about, how can I help you get this squared away? For example, the Liberty Club owes $180 for Builders Club. They may not even know that. So if you can talk to them about that.
I have, and they do not owe. They,
Okay.
that Builders Club is not operating at the moment. It's on COVID, and they're working that out with KI.
Great. And I
Right.
think probably a lot of these service leadership programs will be like that, but we want to get them off the charter suspended list.
Also, the Greater Hot Springs in Division 15, they
Yes.
were already notified because they do not have Builders Club functioning either. And that's by the choice of school.
Right.
So-
Right.
And the
We need-
same
Oh.
thing, the same with Trenton. Division 2.
Yeah, I don't have that that they owe anything, but I could have missed it. Just that they're under charter strength.
Right there,
Trenton-
B and C
Trenton.
membership 200.
Oh, I see. I have it on twice. Oh my gosh.
Well, I have to say something, and this goes out to the lieutenant governors. If you have clubs that $150 is the threshold for KI, anything over $150, then clubs have a problem with going on charter suspend. I even talked to them about it. I think $150 is kind of nitpicky, but that's been in the books for years. So if you have clubs that only owe for their SLPs, they need to notify KI, and they can do that. They could send me an email and I forward it on to KI, but we need to let KI know that there's that they're on COVID suspend, so then they can get inactive and they won't owe anything for that service leadership program.
Okay, on Greater Hot Springs Village, they have notified KI, and they've also received a notification back that they are on COVID, and yet this is still showing.
Well, it's going to show, Kathleen, until the 1st of April. They only
Okay.
put those out once a month, so nothing's going to change until the 1st of April.
Okay, thank you.
Correct. And so I'm sure you figure out the code I use. BC's Builders Clubs, KK is
Hey, kids.
Hey Kids. There weren't any key clubs. I think that they have put all the key clubs on COVID. I'm not sure, but the ones for my personal club were put on COVID, and we didn't ask for that. So anyway, this would be something to talk to your clubs about, and it sounds like a lot of you've already taken care of this, and the things that you can do. Now, I have listed on here also the ones that are charter revoked, because you can get a charter back after it's revoked for up to 2 years, provided
Right.
that you now have 15 members, you've paid the past debts, and you pay for the 15 members. So for some clubs, that is what they'll want to do. For other clubs, like maybe Central Little Rock, decide that they're not going to continue, and then that's an opportunity for us to have a new club, because we know it's an area that needs a club, that had a club, that enjoyed the club. So I will send this out to you. I hope it's of value to you, and that you can help your clubs in your division get off of charter suspension.
So Barbara, you're going to forward this to all of the lieutenant governors, or you're going to give it to Mary to send out?
However you want to do that. It's
I'm
fine.
good with whatever you want to do, Barbara. If you
Okay.
want to send it to me, I can send it out.
Okay, well, I wanted to write a little message, because the people who aren't on here won't exactly understand it, I think. I'm not even sure I understand it, but I want to explain the last number in the middle column is always the number of members. And that is helpful sometimes in talking about, what can we do and what support can we find. And a lot of times we will find that there are problems with the KI accounting system. So we want to look at that. Okay. The only other thing that I wanted to say was I was at a meeting yesterday, and that COVID waiver, whenever we meet in person, they say that is going to stay in effect till December 31st, or at least those are the plans now. One of the things that the Stockton Cedar County Club did was they made that into a sign-in sheet. And so they put all of the waiver at the sign-in sheet, and whenever
That's a good idea.
and then they didn't have so many multiple copies of the
Mhm.
waiver. They had it all on the sign-in sheet. So
Cool.
just offer that. So that concludes my report.
Great. I don't think Roy's joined us yet. If he doesn't end up joining us, I would be happy to, or Carla or anybody can probably give that report as to what he sent us out earlier this month. I wanted to talk about the next item on the agenda is the board voted at their last meeting to offer Zoom accounts to the lieutenant governors. Now, I've spent a lot of time thinking how to handle this. Now, I really believe that the best way to handle it is the lieutenant governor would sign up for an account and then send us a bill so that we could pay them back $100. Because it's going to be very difficult for me to sign them up in an account. Then I pay for it and then they have to pay me $100. I think it'd be better if it's okay with you guys, for you guys to pay for it and then send me a bill and we'll reimburse you $100. Does that make sense?
Mary, I have a suggestion that this is what I did because I remember I got one for membership that the district is paying.
Never mind. I'm confused. It's a free account, so I could easily sign them up for a free account and I have to pay for it. So never mind. I kept thinking the rebate. I'm getting amplified confused with Zoom. Sorry. Never mind.
Okay, so I was just thinking that it might be valuable to make them a standard address and account like Lieutenant Governor Division 1 at gmail.com or whatever. And then as they pass them on, are you going to have them pass them on?
I don't know. We haven't thought that far ahead.
Yes,
be
we
quite
did, we
honest.
did discuss that at the board meeting
Oh.
and said it would get passed on to the new lieutenant governor if there's a change, obviously.
Now, the only concern that I have, if we set it up that way, would be we'd have to set a different email address because I don't know if they'll let you. You can only do 9 licenses on a license, so that wouldn't be enough licenses to get all the divisions covered. That would be my only concern with setting them up with the same email address. You muted yourself.
Yeah. Each one would be different because it'd have a different division number.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Put it at Lieutenant Governor Division
1.
Oh, okay, I see that. I could probably do that. That may not be a bad idea.
Yeah. And then each one would set up their password, and when they pass it on, then the new person can set up a new password. But-
Okay, and as I set them up, I would set them up with a password and then they could go in and change it if they so desire.
Right.
Okay.
That would take a lot of control and notification if people don't notify you away from Mary. And I don't think that's a good idea when it comes to organizations. And that's the experience I've had with other organizations where this has happened this way. Just a comment.
What do you mean by that, Kathleen? Because I don't understand.
When you switch lieutenant governors, that it starts from scratch with you. This isn't forwarded on. The Zoom account is not forwarded on to the next lieutenant governor automatically from lieutenant governor to lieutenant governor. They have to go back through you.
That's probably a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Keeps you in much, much better control for accuracy.
Well, and that works for 9 licenses, but if we have requests from more lieutenant governors than 9, then those lieutenant governors would need to set it up themselves and then send you an expense report for the amount.
I could set up 9 on one lieutenant governor. I could also give out 9 on our account. So that might be enough to cover everybody, but that's still not going to be 26. We may have to do something else. You're right, Carla. It's not going to be enough.
You might have to do 3 accounts.
Right.
Right. So I was thinking that that might be a tool that the lieutenant governors could use for the clubs that are not meeting. Because
Correct.
if they could host the meetings, that might help them.
Right. And that was the reason for it, is to not just give the lieutenant governors a tool to use for division council meetings, but to also help our clubs that aren't meeting, give them maybe an outlet to meet.
Right. And I don't, if everybody's familiar or not with Zoom, but you can set up recurring meetings so you could give each club the same
Mhm.
login for every meeting, and that simplifies things a lot.
Well, I think it's going to take some coordination on the lieutenant governor's part to
Yeah.
make sure that there's not going to be duplicate meetings at the same time, that people aren't using it all at the same time, and somebody's going to have to coordinate that.
Right.
It
But
was
that,
my-
but that's
I
why.
thought I thought the lieutenant governor was to launch each one of the meetings for each one of the clubs in the division.
That's probably how it's going to roll, because the account will be in the lieutenant governor's
Right.
control,
Okay.
so they'll have to.
Yeah, but it might help to have each club have a different login. That might keep.
Well,
things-
it'll just be a different meeting. It'll just be not just a different login, but it'll be a meeting with a different, different address. So,
Right.
yeah,
Correct.
right.
Otherwise, you might have people Zoom bombing accidentally.
And maybe that's okay. It's a way to get those inner clubs going.
There you go.
This is Les. I have a question. Since you have 9 licenses and we have 9 trustees, how about assigning them to the trustees? And that's just a question. I'm not familiar with familiar, but I thought that way if each trustee had it, would that work?
Well, I think the only problem with the trustee having it is now you've gone from 5 or 6 or 7 clubs to coordinate to up to
21.
10 to 15 clubs to coordinate, or 21. That's a lot of clubs to coordinate. I wouldn't want to coordinate that.
And the lieutenant governor is supposed to be in closer contact than the trustees.
Right.
They're more used to seeing the lieutenant governor and they turn to the lieutenant governor first.
And that was what we voted at the board meeting, was that it would be for the lieutenant governor. So we really kind of are stuck with that program.
Well, yeah,
For now.
I'm aware of that, but I'm just trying to think. Of course, right now, out of the 4 divisions, we just got 1 lieutenant governor out of the 4 divisions in Region 3. So we've got a problem.
Well, quit trying to take all the control, Les.
It
What
might
are you
be,
doing, knocking those people off over there or what?
I don't know.
but
Trying to
wouldn't it,
encourage them, but anyway.
wouldn't it be okay though for one of the lieutenant governors to host regional meetings or whatever? That'd be a good use of the money.
Yep.
That's an idea.
And speaking of lieutenant governors, we really need to mention the fact that we have Ralph McCormick on the call today for the first time.
Ralph,
Yay, Ralph.
This is a gentleman who has stepped in to work really hard in his division with clubs. So we thank you, Ralph, very much.
I only do it for the money. That's all it is.
spend it wisely, Ralph. Spend that money wisely.
I'll
I am
have to share.
so glad to see your face and know what you look like.
Me too.
I thought you
Thank you.
were a knight in shining armor.
Oh gosh, you're so sweet. I'll be honest with you. I'm having a ball of my life. I've been fun. I'm trying to figure out things, and thanks to all of you, I have actually been able to acquire 10 years of knowledge within 1 month. So I know I'm become a pest sort of what to some of you, but I'm having a ball. I want this to succeed. I want things to come out the way they're supposed to, but I can see what I'm facing here is a lot like what everyone is facing. We haven't had a lieutenant governor in this division apparently for about 5 years. And we're seeing a lot of the results of that now, along with COVID. But I think a lieutenant governor was very important to keep everybody focused. And my job now is to refocus it. And thank you guys for supporting me. And the big bucks, I know they'll come in later somewhere. Les probably has got 100,000. He'll probably stick in there.
Easy.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Mine.
Mary, I'll have to pay you 50% of it though.
That's true. You will have to split with me.
Okay.
Ralph.
Thank you for inviting me into this group. I appreciate it.
Ralph,
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for all you're doing.
Yeah,
Love it.
thank you so much.
can I say something?
No, are you the governor? Who do you think you
Well, I
are?
don't- Some days I don't know what I am, but I just wanted to tell Ralph that if he'd take that horse off of his shirt and put a hog or a tiger, it would fit in better. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
Y'all weren't supposed to see that. I live
Well,
in
it's right there
Colorado.
on the screen.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's because I like donkeys. That's all it is. I'm a donkey supporter.
No comment.
Yeah.
Go
But
ahead, Mary.
You'd be surprised. I don't even really do sports. I got this thing free many years ago, and I've just now started to wear it. So, yeah, I'm not a sports person, but yeah, you should be a Razorback. I understand. Maybe I got turned into a Razorback. I don't know, but thank you all. I've enjoyed my whole big month of lieutenant governor.
More to come.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, I guess to finish up the discussion on the Zoom accounts, I've gotten requests from 2 lieutenant governors so far for a Zoom account. If you're interested in one for your division, just shoot me an email and I'll go on and try to get that set up. I'm probably going to work on that over the next couple of days. So, and if anybody needs training on what to do with Zoom, feel free to contact me or Paul. I think Paul was on here somewhere. Oh, there's Paul. Paul knows how to do it, as does Barbara. There's Carla. There's a number of us on here that know how to do the Zoom pretty easily. So if you do need assistance, just get in touch with us and, we'll be happy to help you out.
And I think that's another thing that we need to have at the Lieutenant Governor training in May.
Correct. And I didn't put this on the agenda and I should have. The Lieutenant Governor training is set up in May for May 14th and 15th and 16th at the Doubletree Hotel in Branson. No, the Ramada Inn in Branson. I'm sorry. I'll send you an email that will be correct and I'll have my thought processes together. It'll be at the Ramada Inn in Branson. So we thought we'd do something a little different than Springfield. So hopefully everybody will be able to join us. And if you have, I think later in the agenda, we're going to talk about replacements. If you need to be getting your replacements now for Lieutenant Governor. If you don't plan on serving another year, you need to go on and get somebody to take your place. So we need to get that rolling.
Yes.
And
Just so you
Lieutenant,
know,
pardon me,
no, it's okay. I was just going to say, I've already got my replacement for the next year and perhaps the next year. So I agree with you. Phil, I didn't want to serve 2 years. Les told me it's either do it once and get it right, or do it 2 years and get it right. So Les, I'm taking your advice. I've got potentially 2 lieutenant governors ready.
And if you're like some people, they never get it right. So they're like serving 3 and 4 terms. So, hey,
So, but I think in having those 3 and 4 year terms, we forget that they need to be elected.
that's right. They do need to be elected. So Carla, what were you going to say about lieutenant governors?
Just that lieutenant governor training is actually the 15th. Our board meeting
right.
was the 14th.
Right, 15th, yeah. And we haven't decided yet if it's going to be 1 day or 2 days, but we'll definitely, even if it's 1 day, we'll pay for you guys to attend and have room for you at the, in the hotel. We'll put up your night stay.
You'll send us that information as soon as
Yes,
possible
ma'am.
so we can get reservations in.
I will take care of all of your reservations. You don't have to worry about a thing. So it's all good.
You take all the fun out of it if we don't have to worry about it.
I know. I got all this stuff to worry about. I should be sharing with you to let you worry about it.
That's why she makes the big bucks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Big.
Sorry about that.
So do we still not have Roy on the call? Do you need me to do the membership update?
Yeah, do you mind? Roy is not on the call. I'm not sure. He didn't tell me he couldn't make it.
Anyhow, no problem. In the larger group, Group A, 30 or more members, we have Crestwood Sunset Hills as number 1 in Missouri, Wright City, Missouri as number 2, St. Charles, Missouri as number 3, and Union, Missouri as number 4. Then we have Florissant Valley, Missouri as 5, Golden K in Benton, yay, Arkansas.
Whoopee.
Number 7 is Huntsville. Number 8 is Cape Girardeau. Number 9 is Columbia Boonslick.
That baby.
And number 10 is downtown Springfield. Then in the Group B that is fewer than 30 members, number 1 is Rogers, Arkansas. Number 2 is Rittner, St. Louis County. Number 3 is Bentonville. Number 4 is Cuttleville, Walden Springs. 5 is Rolla Breakfast Club. 6 is Creve Coeur. 7 is Arnold. 8 is Lee's Summit. 9 is Malvern area. And 10 is Glendale Kirkwood. So everybody's working hard at it. The folks that are in the Group A, their percentage increases are from 14.7 down to 4.44. And the folks with fewer than 30, their percentages are 52.9% growth down to 18.2. So people are working at it, and thank you for all the clubs that are.
Would
One
those
thing-
things be sent to us right away since we're
Yes.
coming to the end?
Yeah, I'll go on and get that out to you all. But the only thing I want to make a comment on is we won't be able to update anybody's numbers until the 1st of April because it's based on KI's numbers, and KI sent that out already for the month of March. So, or for the month of February, they've already sent that out. The other thing is Liberty is also in the mix. If any club is on charter suspend notice, that means if they owed money and got a charter suspend notice, they are not considered in the, they've got to be in good standing with KI in order to be considered. The other thing is, though, Liberty has resolved their issue, but it won't show on the report until the end of the program. So they're doing really well, and they're going to be up there. And I think they're pretty close to first place in one of the divisions. I think it's in the clubs over 30% or over 30 members.
No,
But-
it's the smaller clubs.
Oh, is it? Okay, well, they're really in good position there. So we won't be able to clear that up and straighten that up until later in the month when we get a new report from KI.
We
So
also,
I
Yeah.
apologize.
We
Can I
also
make a
have
comment
Brenton.
on behalf of Susan, AC, and myself, Division 15? We have one for Class A and we have one in Class B. We're in
Good
the
for
top
you.
10 in both.
That's wonderful.
That
Mary,
makes you Class E.
Good job, Carla.
Yeah,
Oh,
I counted on the report that came out at the beginning of March. 42 of our 179 clubs have grown.
That's wonderful.
It is, it is. Do we know how many we've grown during this contest? Do we have a number?
No, mine's from the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any number at this point. The problem is that the reports that KI puts out, it's all cumulative. So if a club lost 2 members but gained 1, they're still down 1. So it's all cumulative. So it's very hard to see how many members. I could give you a report on how many members we've gotten since the beginning of the year, but it's going to be difficult to give you an idea of how much has happened in this time. I'll try. I'll see if I can pull that number up and see if I can figure that out.
Mary, I'd really appreciate it if you would, because there's a metrics number that KI has that says 226. And if that's the case, we need to get to 765 to grow. So
Yeah, you're right.
So if you could do that and we could compare, I'd
Yeah,
love
I'll pull a membership list down and figure that all out.
it. That's great.
Thank you.
So the next thing on the agenda is amplify rebates. AC or Carla, do you want to talk about the amplify rebates? Or do you want me to talk about it?
You have the floor. Go ahead.
But Carla, do you want to talk about it?
Well, the board just had a meeting and they voted along with many things, and you really do need to share this with all your clubs, that the board is working really hard to make life better for all the clubs and make our members better members all the time. Amplify is the program that we've talked about for several months, and that registration did start on the 15th of February. And the program starts on April 1st. And we have voted that this is a class that costs $200, and the board will rebate half, 100 of the $200 for anyone who joins. So that's a heck of an opportunity to get wonderful education for only $100.
Yes.
We have a
Yes.
handout.
Yeah, we have a handout. I can send that out to you.
I'm sorry, a
after
hand
this
up.
meeting.
Looks like
Oh,
a raised
hand up.
hand.
I don't see a raised hand, but I might have one.
P. McGuire.
Patsy.
Is that an accident? You're
Unmute,
muted.
unmute yourself, sweetie. There you go.
If I hit something, I did it by mistake. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Okay, but you do fine. Were you going to say something? Patsy? Patsy, were you going to say
Did
something?
you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I must have hit something by mistake. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to say something. Patsy's an old friend of mine. I want y'all to know I went to high school with Patsy. We're old buds.
Ooh, Mary.
Yeah, I know.
Don't we only have what, 22 or 24 spots that we're going to do that for?
24 spots in the Amplify program, and everybody needs, that just went out in a memo out to all the presidents and secretaries that is an opportunity for you guys, any members, 24 spots, $100 a piece. You need to let me know so I can register you. And then I will register you and all you have to do is pay the district back $100.
Do we mail the check to you, Mary?
Yeah,
I
you'll
just
mail the
wanted-
check to me, yes.
Okay. I would like to do it.
Okay. Let me get a piece of paper because I don't have one on me. Hang on just a second.
Okay.
These speakers are not just Kiwanis speakers, correct? They are outside individuals as
Right.
well?
They're all
They are.
professional. Mhm.
They are basically all outside of.
So they're all
Kiwanis.
professionals in the field of what we're going for.
Yes, so this is actually something that ought to interest our younger members as well, because this could be enhancement to their career as well.
And my understanding is that there are 8 modules and you can complete them at your own time.
Right.
Okay, Patsy wants to take it.
Mhm.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
That's on this call?
Yeah, Mary, Greg Atkins,
Right.
have I can't think whether I've signed up or not. Have you got anything there on that? But count me in, please.
I doubt if you've signed up yet,
Okay,
because right now you'd have to sign up through KI. If you've not signed up through KI, you've not signed up.
Harry, I tried to send you a text message the other day after our meeting about, but I didn't ever get a response from you. I may have had the wrong number.
But do you want to do it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I want to do it as well.
Mary, I think I do too.
Okay, Barb.
So do we need to just send you $100 or?
Send me
Are you gonna
$1 million and I'll take care of all of you guys.
AC, can you cover that for us?
I sure can. Make
You know
that
he
check.
can.
Make that check payable to me. Didn't you see it on the spell? I'm out trying to get money.
Yeah,
Just for clarification, Mary,
Yes.
do we need to go online in KI and register, or are you going to register us? You're going to register us.
I'm going to register you.
Okay, so I need to send you the $100
Correct.
made out.
I
to
will
Mo.
send an email. What I'll do is once I get you registered, I'll make sure you get a confirmation that you're registered. And then you can, and I'll give you my, well, you know my address, but I can give it to you again and you can mail me a check.
Okay,
That
thank you.
makes sense?
So I don't
Carla,
need to-
Carla, did you want to take this, you and AC?
I'm not going to take it at this time. I may next go around.
Okay, okay.
Yes, I'm certainly going to do it.
Okay.
And then Mary, did you have the update on Midwinter Education Days since Katie can't be with us?
Yeah, I can do that. We are, the registration is going really well. We're over 170 people registered to do the Education Day. And I haven't even checked the number today, so it could even be higher. We've got 4 sessions set up. And give me a second so I can pull that up and talk about it. We've got 4 sessions set up, and they're all going to be led by Kiwanis International people. So it's not going to be just us leading you all on. It'll be Kiwanis people. There's my schedule. Okay. We're going to kick it off at 9 o'clock. AC is going to come on and give us a welcome, and then he's going to introduce, Art Riley is going to join us as well. So we'll have a quick introduction, and then at 9:10, we're starting our first session of risk management with Stu Peterson, who's with Kiwanis International, and he's our corporate risk officer. And then At the end of each session, we'll have a time for questions and answers. 9:45 to 10:15 will be youth protection by Melissa McCann. And she's our youth protection specialist with KI. And then we'll have a break. And then at 10:30, we'll do jump-starting clubs and SLPs after COVID. And that's going to be led by Brad Boyd and Chris Martz, who are really, well, Brad is our area director and Chris Martz is our director of global membership and education. And they're really on it. And we're really excited to have them. And then at 11:10 to 11:45, we'll have virtual member recruitment with service and fundraising ideas by Angie Monger, who's with the development, she's a development officer with the Children's Fund. And then we'll do closing remarks, which will be by AC and Art. That's when we're going to give them an opportunity to talk because we'd already had the schedule worked out before Art told us he was going to join us. The one
Greg
thing,
has a question.
Greg,
Yes, and we're talking about Kiwanis Education Days right now.
yes, that's this Saturday.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. I think I'm
This Saturday, March the 13th. One thing that we're going to let everybody know, because I think tomorrow, based on our registration, I'll be sending out the link to everybody that's registered. And that way they can join us. We ask that everybody is going to be on mute. And if you have a question, we're going to want you to put it in the chat area. Then we'll have a couple of committee members that'll be watching the chat. And then that way we can streamline questions to the presenters at the end of their session during the Q&A. That way we're not bogging them down with the same question. So that way we can really streamline that and try to do as much as possible. Then at the end of the session, if you still have questions, we'll be able to take some questions and answers then at the end of the day at noon. And of course, Art and AC will be on and you would be able to ask them some questions too. So that's kind of how the day is going to come out. I am going to record each of the sessions because I know there are people, Patsy's got a wedding to go to. I know there's people that can't attend. So we will have each of the sessions is going to be recorded individually so that, and they'll be listed on our website. So you'll be able to go out or somebody will be able to go out and watch those at a later time. And then they can just go to the education session they want to hear about. They don't have to go through the whole morning. So that's how it's going to be. And we're kind of excited. And I think it's going to be kind of cool. It'll be different.
And it really is good because each of these is going to be only a half hour. So this is going to move along. It also gives you a little break in between. Use the restroom, do whatever. So don't have anyone get put off because it's a 3-hour Zoom meeting. You're not going to be sitting staring at Zoom the entire 3 hours. There are breaks.
Right, right.
So
And we were
it's good.
worried about
And
that.
The point of doing these recordings separately is that you can also use them for club programs later if you would like.
Yes, yes. That, and I think that'll be great. Barbara.
So, yeah. So the youth protection training,
Mm-hmm.
clubs have asked if they can use that for their youth protection training.
Okay.
Everybody has-
And your answer is
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Is that
Great.
correct? Is that correct? Good.
That's fine with me. That's up to you since you know more about all that stuff than I do. But if they can use that as their training, I think that's great.
Right. And that actually, the Normandy Club is trying to get a quorum there so that they can count it. I didn't know it was going to be recorded, but that'll definitely cover them. So good. And when is the last time that people can register?
We're taking registration. I do believe we're going to take registration up until Friday. I don't think there's any, but we do want people to be pre-registered so we know how many people are going to be on the and I got to get information out to you. So we would really like to get you in as soon as possible.
Everything that went out said that they would like you registered by today.
Oh,
But
Oh,
but they're not going to turn someone away.
okay,
No, we won't turn anybody away.
great.
Any
Thank-
other questions? Okay, good. Okay, next thing on the agenda is, does anybody have any ideas on struggling clubs? What to do? I know Ralph and I've had numerous conversations because he's got a number of struggling clubs in his division, and so we've been talking about it a lot.
Well, Barbara has been doing training for club counselors, and we do have
Right.
those available. And lots of what we're doing is to help clubs not struggle. So between the club counselor, between some of the information that you're going to get if you just show up for the Zoom meeting on Saturday. Anyhow, there are resources. You're not just hanging out there with no one to help.
Right. And the people who were trained have manuals to help them. But the main thing is, listening, talking to the club, and finding out what strengths they have. I think it's always good to build on the strengths that you have, like the club that we talked to, and nobody would do anything unless somebody told them to do something. But when they were given a task, they completed the task. Well, that's a strength. You've got people who will work as long as they know the task. So, I think it's a lot of listening and somebody to talk to them, like Ralph has been a godsend in contacting the clubs and listening to them and talking to them. So I think that's what we need. Also, I think that Brad's session on Saturday about how to jumpstart at the end of COVID will be filled with good ideas also.
Excellent, excellent. I wanted, Greg, before you make a comment, I want to follow up with what Barbara said. It takes a strong lieutenant governor to keep in touch with their clubs and to know what's going on. And there's some struggling clubs out there that really don't know what to do. And it really takes picking up the phone and calling them if they're not answering your email. I can't push that enough to say it really takes you guys that much time just to pick up a phone, because Ralph, I'm going to call on you for right now, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but tell me some of the experiences you've had with calling these clubs that haven't had a lieutenant governor for the last 5 years.
Wow, boy. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can hear me, okay. It's embarrassing on my part because I think that part of the problem, yes, is related to COVID, but the biggest part of the problem is related to the lieutenant governor, having no lieutenant governor. But the thing is, if you have a lieutenant governor who is not performing, then it's the same thing as not having a lieutenant governor. And what I see here is a real catastrophe waiting to happen. And forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn, but I believe that what I experience here is what a lot of you lieutenant governors are experiencing. I only had about 30 days of experience. So I'm speaking what I feel from the gut. And I think that if we don't do something, and I'm one of them, I want to do something to save out of 7 clubs in my division. I'll be lucky if I end up with 4, maybe 3. Now, that's a pretty bad thing to come into and say that you're doing. I don't want to fail. And I believe that every lieutenant governor does not want to fail. But if we don't talk to them and communicate with them and advise them on where the strengths are of the club and reward them for what they've done so far, I don't think that, I think it's going to be pretty serious when the final tally is gone. And most of people are going to say it's COVID. I'm going to say in my case, it's not COVID. It is actually the lack of having a lieutenant governor for 5 years, because if I'd have been here as lieutenant governor, I would have walked them through it. I would have tried to save every one of these clubs that I'm getting ready to lose. And I'm worried about Kiwanis in general because I love Kiwanis, and thanks to my buddy Les who got me to be lieutenant governor back in 1903, I think it was. It's one of those things that I treasure the moment because when I walk away, I've got another guy scheduled to come in October, but I'm not leaving him here alone. I will still be with him and support him and make sure that he continues to do what is necessary to keep Division 20 going. Does that answer the question?
Kind of, but what I was wanting to hear was, what was their reaction when you called them up and said, hey, I'm your lieutenant governor? Did they like fall over dead or what? You know, I mean, I just wonder, what was the reaction to hear from somebody from Kiwanis? Oh my God, they're calling me.
Let me give you an example. I asked one president that was really good last year and did a super job. I said, do you by any chance get any kind of rewards, or have you, a distinguished president, distinguished club? He said, what's that? And when I started calling around, they just thought, really? What are you talking? They didn't know what a lieutenant governor was. They had no idea what he was supposed to be doing. And I'm educating these people, and I'm really thankful. I have about 3, maybe 4 individuals that are maintaining clubs through some really hard times. But man, it's embarrassing. I go in apologizing because I am sorry that there wasn't someone that they could put in as lieutenant governor. And one young man, I think, well, I say young, anybody's younger than me, but there's one person here that I think has done a great job, Westmoreland, and I think he has probably been instrumental in saving what little there is out there. But there haven't been anyone past him as far as lieutenant governors, and it's very embarrassing as someone walking in out of nowhere, trying to explain to them that there could have been help for you, but nobody showed up to do it. So yeah, it was quite remarkably surprised most of those people that a lieutenant governor was calling them. In fact, I've been bugging the hell out of him, pardon my French. And I know I bug you too. Yeah, I know, I know, Mary, you get half of my 100,000 this year, okay? But I am a very persistent, obnoxious, form person that goes head on into a problem. And before I leave, it'll be better than it was when I got here. But I'm really concerned about so many different clubs that are suffering. And I don't think it's just my division. I think it's a lot of divisions. But if I will say one more thing, I would like to put something forward that if this Missouri, Arkansas is to survive with a pretty large amount, then I would recommend a think tank of 7 perhaps governors, lieutenant governors, and 30 other people putting stuff into the barrel. And there needs to be some sort of resolution. Perhaps I'll see it with Boyd on Saturday. I don't know. But I think we need to focus Missouri, Arkansas into a situation where we have the answers and we give it to them. Let the Kiwanis International take care of themselves. We need to take care of Missouri, Arkansas. 7 people, a think tank of intelligent people that can take all information in and do it. Not someone who, just wants another title, but someone who will really get the job done and come up with a plan for Missouri, Arkansas. It's not over yet. We haven't lost these clubs. But if we can come up with something that we can give the lieutenant governor, say, this is what you need to do. And then I think at that particular point, we will accomplish something international has not done.
Right. Thanks, Ralph. I appreciate that. And that's kind of what I was trying to get at is these clubs that haven't heard from you, they're going to be so excited to know somebody's thinking of them, and I think that's important.
As we're looking for replacement lieutenant governors, we need to find someone who can be politely obnoxious and go after the clubs and let them know what resources are there, how we can help them, and that it's very important that they do report and operate like a
Right.
Kiwanis club. We
Right.
are actually at time, but we did not give Nancy a moment to speak.
Can
or
I,
any
can
of our
I,
other.
Greg had a question a while ago, or a comment earlier, and I cut him off. So Greg, do you have a comment? You're muted.
Little do you know, I can't think now what it was, but I didn't pick up all of what Ralph was talking about, but just first impression, Kiwanis International, MOARC has got a tremendous infrastructure behind all the clubs. And I think if this dovetails into what Ralph said, is that if we can get lieutenant governors out there to be even a little bit more than politely obnoxious, to say, look, all the responsibilities are listed there in your manuals. Try to pick up one or two things for every officer in a club, what have you, to do just a little bit better to lift our club activity and know what some of these things are that are out there. And I'm probably the worst one to be talking because I don't know everything that's in those manuals. So
There will be a test later.
Larry, that's the point I was gonna make. If a president doesn't know about that, did he not go to president education, club leadership?
Probably not.
education?
Probably
We've got
not.
to emphasize, come on, Paul, I'm trying to plug you here. We've got to get these presidents and secretaries to getting in education. And it doesn't need to be just a little boring thing. Get them excited about getting their club going and know that we're there for them.
Yeah.
The lieutenant governors are the strokes that makes everything work. If we do what we're supposed to do, which is tell them the things that need to be done to survive, and it needs to be, like you said, get the manual out, but help them with the manual. Don't just force it on them. If we don't do our job, then there's going to be a lot of clubs that will never make it past our October the 1st. I mean, it's got to be up to all of us to get involved with the clubs in a one-to-one, stay in touch with them and guide them. What I told them, I said, I'm your mouthpiece. I am your mouthpiece. You talk to me. I go to Missouri ARC. I go to Kiwanis International. It's my job to be the mouthpiece for a little bitty club in Fort Smith, Arkansas, or Boonville, Arkansas. It's the same for any lieutenant governor. We are the mouthpiece. We don't tell them what to do. We tell them what they need and then go to them.
Plus, we're trying to help people remember why they joined Kiwanis, which was to serve. And
Exactly.
Kiwanis has survived 2 world wars, Korea, Vietnam, civil rights activities.
The Spanish flu.
And
Swine flu.
9/11, and we've served throughout all of that, and we'll keep on. But we just have to do what you're saying, and that's inspire them to continue, because the need is great. The need is there, and
It is.
there are lots of ways of meeting those needs.
I guess, Mary, the thing that I thought of a while ago was, I think the best thing that could happen to all of us is for the pandemic regulations to be lifted so we could get out and rub shoulders with everybody.
Right.
That's what I'm
Amen.
anxiously waiting for.
Amen.
And then they're going to be sorry that they ever saw me. So
Don't miss your shots. Don't miss your chance to get a shot. All I'm saying.
got it.
Fortunately, Arkansas has pretty well lifted their restrictions, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay, Carla.
Did Nancy have something that she needed to share with us?
I have just a little bit. I know this is gloom and doom, but Kiwanis Children's Fund is now operating until the 1st of October under emergency conditions. Our monies went down at Kiwanis Children's Fund. So that's what they're doing. That's what the board approved. And then the district grant money had originally been suspended, but the board came back together, and this is the Kiwanis Children's Fund Board, and they have allocated $50,000 toward the district grant awards. Now, I will be hearing by the 1st of April what we will be getting and what we have to do to get an award. So that's it. Thank you.
Do you have the report? Do you have the report from Roger sent out earlier to say that? Oh, I'm sorry, Carla. I don't want to step on your toe.
I do have it, and I was gonna let folks know just the highlights, and it would be good if we could send the complete report on to all the lieutenant
I
governors.
will. I will tonight.
But the Eliminate project is complete, but as these things do, they will still, of course, continue to take money and help. Have they eliminated MNT? They have in 27 countries, but there are still 12 countries where children and their mothers are at risk. So if you still have monies, please do send them in. The thing that I thought was fantastic, we had one club that was a gold club giving over $100,000. We had, that gave 100,000. We have gold clubs that gave $1,000 per member, 5 of them in Missouri, Arkansas. We have model clubs, which is $750 per member. 30 clubs did $750 per member. Silver clubs were $500 per member. 7 clubs gave that. Bronze clubs were $350 per member. 4 clubs gave to that level. And then 26 other clubs or organizations gave a donation, but not of a specific amount. Anyhow, it really is wonderful, and you need to let all your clubs know how much KI appreciates the Eliminate people that have given money and have helped eliminate maternal neonatal tetanus.
Oh,
Is that the end of the agenda?
Yep.
Thank you guys and gals for tuning in. We're gonna do this again next month. Same time, same station. Just tune in and be ready. Mary,
AI canceled the international convention today, I think, right?
yeah, well, they had already voted last week to cancel the international convention as it normally stands. They are going to do the President's Council or whatever they call it, that are going to do the voting on all of the items on the agenda for the House of Delegates. And then they're going to have an education opportunity, but they don't know at this point where or when, but they're going to let us know. So yes, no international convention in Salt Lake City.
And our August convention looks promising.
Our August convention, we're pretty sure we're going to go, and we're looking at a hybrid. So we'll offer it to people that can come in person and people that can't.
And I'm trying to figure out how to do CLE with this present situation. They're telling us that the new Salesforce.com secretary's dashboard is coming
Right.
in January.
Yes,
We need to train for the old.
Right.
And the other thing is, it looks like we're going towards electronic books. You download the PDF.
I think that's great.
Delivering the book.
That's great, because I still have books from last year.
do
So
I.
anybody wants a hardcover book, I have them. And
We may as well
Paul
just
probably
save
has
them
some
if we
too.
have 'em. They're
Yeah.
not changing very much, but of
No.
course, once the new dashboard comes in, they'll have to.
Right, right.
But there are many people that appreciate having a manual as well, rather than just a PDF. So
Right.
it would be good if we made those available.
Sounds
Well,
good.
we certainly can get the printed books if we want to, but we have to figure out how to distribute them. They don't send them to individual trainers anymore. They
Well,
send all of them.
you can-
100 books to
they
one
can-
person, and we have to figure out how to get them
Paul?
into the clubs with the challenge.
Paul, they can do what they did last year. They can send it to me and then I'll just send them out. That's what I did after we had to cancel all of our education days. I mailed them out to people, or I hand delivered them, or somehow I got them out to people. So they could just deliver them to me and then I can just disseminate them.
Yeah,
Well,
I think,
I hand delivered 2 copies to all 20 clubs in Region 3 just to get them out. So
Right, right,
that's the best way you can do it, is just hand deliver them.
right. Greg?
Last time we had planned to deliver them to lieutenant governors through the regional education days, but of course,
Yes.
half of those got canceled, so it
Right.
got complicated getting the rest of them out.
Well, it got complicated and then we I met up with people and gave them guides for their clubs. I met up with lieutenant governors. I mailed them to lieutenant governors. So there's a way we can get them out. So we can always request them and they can be sent to me, and that way I can just pay for them and people won't have to get reimbursed.
Okay.
Greg?
Mary, what booklets are you talking about again? I'm
The-
sorry.
The leadership guide for, officer training.
Leadership preparation guide?
Yeah, the leadership guides for your presidents and secretaries
Okay,
and other people and membership. And
okay, I've got those. Yeah, thanks.
Mary, can you send a copy of the recording to Lieutenant Governor Jim Fritz and to
Sure.
Blake Robertson, who said that he couldn't make it today?
sure, I'll just have to convert it and then convert it to YouTube, which is always fun. So yeah, I can take care of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. But
See
let
you
me
later.
know about Amplify if you want to participate. Have a good evening.
Thank
Two.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.